If you knew who killed Tupac, would you tell the police?
We just have to really work hard back in the day.
Shakur shot 5 times while on trial. Snoop Doggy Dogg
was indicted for murder.
Death row more than $300 million. Death row with a possible RICO case in mind.
People don't know about a lot of this stuff.
David May started The Source on the news source for news. The magazine is now a $10 million a year publication.
Every time you turn around, everybody want to spread some lies or some shit.
Tell Tupac I'ma bail his ass out.
Warren G, you can take care of yourself. How are you gonna get Pac out of prison?
Should be more than press charges.
Akon.
You did what everybody mad at 6ix9ine about.
Look here, boy.
The hip-hop magazine The Source has honored its picks for the best in rap.
I'm the first one told people about your masters. But I was telling people about my masters, they said, what is that? I ain't no slave.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star, we won't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the video, all on the record. Come to Death Row.
The guy is a serious major gangster.
Afraid of him for sure.
One of the most powerful and feared men in the American music industry.
You have a prepaid call from
Suge Knight.
An inmate at the R.J. Donovan Correctional Facility, San Diego, California.
What up, everybody? This is your boy, Bill Bellamy, and we are back with Top Billin', the #1 podcast for the culture, the movement, and the discussion. We have an amazing special guest today. He is an Emmy-nominated actor, director, writer, producer. A lot of people love this man from his ER days. Dr. Benton. Had all the ladies want to get sick and get healed and all that crazy stuff coming up in the game. He also is a director. Directed every episode of great top-level TV from CSI to Chicago PD and many, many, many more. He has also segued into writing, and actually really good writing and suspense thrilling writing, right? Part of the Martyr Maker series.
The Martyr Maker series.
And his third installation is here today, Laws of Annihilation. That sounds like some shit about to happen. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Eriq La Salle! Eriq, I love you, brother. We talked about this about 4 weeks ago. He was like, Bill, I got a lot going on. My new book is about to drop, and I want to come down and kick it with you. And I never got a chance to talk to you about the other two. And I always wondered, because I never thought I would write a book.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And I always wondered, like, if it was possible, because being a comedian, actor, you're doing all this other stuff. How did you sit yourself down and said, I'm going to just delve into this world of suspense, thrilling writing? How did that happen?
You know, everything for me, man, is studying whatever that craft is, whatever it is. Like, I went to, Juilliard, NYU for acting. When I decided to start directing, I followed directors around. I was in the editing room. I was, So for me, it's all about, study the craft. Once you study the craft, then I'm not going to say it makes it easy, it makes it easier. Right. So I started going to book conferences. I started reading a lot. I did a movie, I think it was like my second year of ER. These producers came to me with this thriller by this top-selling author by the name of John Sanford. And he has a series, the Prey series. So they wanted me to play the main character, who was written white. So I was like, oh, this is dope, right? So I was like, okay, cool. So I ended up producing that, and I started it, and that kind of got me hungry. I love like that thriller, that edgy, suspenseful vibe. So when I decided that I would try writing, I went with what I was passionate about. And I was passionate about, like, one of my favorite movies is Seven.
I was getting ready to say that you right in there.
Yeah,
Seven was one of my favorite movies ever.
And that's what. And so when I started writing, so my series is pretty much based very much like Seven. It's African American cop with an Italian Irish American cop, and they are the best closers in New York City, and they only investigate high profile serial killers.
Right.
So very much like Seven. So I went with what I was passionate about, like what kind of story, because I have a short attention span, so I need, like, I write for people like me. Like, you gotta, like, there's gotta be a thrill and a chill every 4 pages.
Like, slice and dice them. Chapter 1, your head blown off. Chapter 2, you keep it going.
Keep you going. Yeah.
Now the thing that I find very, very fascinating in that world is kind of dark, right? Okay. And you have to have a part of that element inside of you to be able to kind of like get into nicks and crannies. So how were you able to say, with this type of writing I'm going to sink into this part of my personality and let that come and be free enough to do that?
Right. You know what it is? It's imagination. It's owning your imagination. It's not apologizing for it. It's, taking all the stuff that we've seen, that we've been stimulated by. We like Seven. We like that kind of thing. We're like, ooh, if I was doing it, I would do it. By the time you're up at bat, you've gathered all this information. You've had all this training. So it's really just not like, it's embracing your imagination.
Yeah. Speaking of imagination, people like us, I feel like, that are artists, and I mean, by that I mean, we can do more than one thing, right? You're an artist, you can paint, you can dance, you can draw, you're well spoken, you do poetry, whatever, right? But when you're an actor and you're able to grab a character and give that character life and bring a piece of you and make people remember that person, like, oh my God, Dr. Bednar, in Coming to America, like, you were the soul god, like that, whatever you put on that character, you do not think of Coming to America without you. You had a very funny and just serious, but like, it was a role that people just always talk about, how do you, because people ask me this all the time too, it's like, how do you do a character? Like, what made you say, okay, when I'm gonna play this guy in Coming to America, I'm gonna put this little boom on, a little arrogance on it, and then on this doctor guy, I'm gonna put this stank on it, and it's gonna kill him. How do you decide? Like, I always wanted to ask you that.
It's funny because so ER came out in 94, so in 93, if you remember, NYPD Blue came out. Okay. And NYPD Blue was killing it. I used to watch that show, and Dennis Franz, who was the heavyset white partner of David Caruso, played a racist white cop, and I loved him. You know why? Because I was like, here's an actor who's not apologizing. He's not softening the blows.
Right.
He's playing, because guess what? They're real racists that's on the police force.
They have a job.
Not all of them, but they got a job. That's politicians, that's everything. Right?
Absolutely.
So my thing was, I was like, wow. And this is talking about speaking things into existence. If I'm presented with an opportunity to play a character that might not always be likable, might be flawed, I'm going to embrace it. I'm not going to try to soften. I'm not going to have him smiling so that the audience goes, oh, he's real. I'm like, hey, listen, sometimes our heroes are assholes. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So I'm like, let me play that. Let me be as honest to that, and with that. And so that's how, for me, when you get into it, it's just like, let me just be honest with the story that I'm telling. Let me be honest. Art is all about, art is having a private moment publicly.
I like that.
So
that's nice.
How deep can you go? Because we know we do some crazy shit when we on our own, right?
Hey.
Now, my question is, do you have the courage to take who that person is when you're by yourself and put that in front of people? And that's what separates, I think, really good artists from mediocre artists, because the mediocre artists are scared. I think the brave artists, and a lot of them are tortured. I mean, you look at Miles, you look at a lot of people that tortured but brilliant because they own their demons. They own it. They own it as it's a part of me. It's blah blah blah. Obviously, hopefully, you don't want it to rule you, and sometimes it does. It's tragic, but my thing is like, look, I want to own my imagination. I want to own my mistakes. I want to own my flaws. I want to own my virtues. I want to own all of these things. You put them in that pot, and when you start creating, you dip into the pot and you pull what you need. And that's how I approach it.
Wow. With Laws of Annihilation, what are our readers looking forward to? Like, how do you take them? You already hit them with 2 really, really amazing stories in the series, but this one right here, what are we going? Where are we taking it?
Ooh,
I can't wait. Come on now, baby.
This one is scary because it just so happens to be representing the craziness and the madness that's going on in the world. This 3rd book is about anti-Semitism, racism against African Americans, the tension between the Jewish community and the African American community. And so essentially what you have, you open up the book, like you say early on, chapter 2, 2 rabbis are viciously killed. And so one of our heroes, who's an FBI female agent, she's half Jewish. So you have a half Jewish woman investigating hate crimes against Jewish people. And then you also have the other half of the story where you take a racist Jewish person and you lock him and imprison him in a basement with a racist brother. And they want to kill each other. They have good reason to want to kill each other. But they realize the only chance that they have of survival is figuring the shit out. And so that's like, to me, that's been the cool journey. And just so happens, you know, obviously with what happened, you know, a week and a half ago in Israel, you know, this is now a part of the zeitgeist again, talking about, you know,
relations and humanity and figuring it out. I mean, this is not a new story in respect to conflict. You know, people not liking each other over religion, or people not liking each other over orientation or whatever it is. And sometimes you just have to, what I like about this story is you put them in a situation where you have no choice. Like, you don't get to go hide. Right. You don't get to go to your house or to your neighborhood with like-minded people and be able to, you know, sort of like block out.
Right.
Now you stuck with it.
Right.
Now what we going to do?
Yeah, because listen, I mean, as extreme as things are in the Middle East,
yes,
you know, if aliens came down and just started killing us, would these 2 groups of people that are, you know, very much divided, would they have to join together to fight a common enemy? And that's, you know, and once you realize in Laws of Annihilation, you realize that there's the presence of white supremacy. And so now, again, does that force this African-American man who does not like Jewish people, does not like white people? Do you take this, does that make this Jewish man who does not like black people, does that make them work together? Does that make them figure shit out? And still have their differences and still have their, but at the end of the day, life and survival is the most important thing.
Hey, that becomes the common denominator, survival, right? And if I need you to live and you need me to live, we become one.
We become one.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, there's a line in the book, their common need depluralized them. They were no longer plural, they were singular. It depluralized them. We live in a pluralistic, you know, environment and world. So it's just like, I've got mine, you've got yours. Because the book is ultimately, in some ways, about tribalism. The tribes that we're born into, the tribes that we choose. Like you and I, we're a part of each other's tribes as artists, as friends.
Right.
We chose each other.
Correct.
You were born into a tribe. The tribe that you were born into might hate the tribe that I was born into. So you know, so when you deal with that, you get all these. The pluralization of things, the multiplication of things. But then all of a sudden, need, what you said is really deep. The need just simplifies it. And it's just like survival simplifies. So we're not 2 now. We're one with one purpose. And that's where, and so when you ask, like, what does this book give? The timing just happens to be a bit uncanny because of what we're going through. But that's one of the major plot points of the book.
I like to believe in when you're in the right place in the right time. I always say this to my friends: God's timing is perfect, right? Exactly. And a lot of times when we're where we're supposed to be, it almost seems crazy. How did I meet this to do this to do? And I didn't even say nothing, and he knew exactly what I needed and introduced me to the lady that got me the building. Oh my God, right? Yep. And so when you were writing this, you didn't know what was actually going to be happening when the time for the book to come out.
No.
Now that goes to show you how crazy it is. You actually wrote this a year and a half ago. You were editing and doing all this. You had no idea that precisely this moment in time we would need to read a book like this.
Exactly. But the one thing that's unfortunate is that although we didn't have what's happening in the world internationally, what we did have was the occurrence and the reoccurrence of synagogue burnings, of black people being killed in church. So that hasn't gone away. African Americans being killed by cops, and so are white people, being killed by cops. But obviously it hits us a certain way.
Correct.
So you've had all of that. So even in the writing, even though it wasn't on this global level that it is right now, there was enough feeding that this is sad, but it's not going away. And think about it, every 6 months something bad happens. It's like weird. Like you get to the bad, it's sad, but you can almost clock it and say we're almost due. And you start getting nervous when things get real quiet.
It's something about to happen.
You're like, something bad. And we do for some. You're like, so I'm no fortune teller or anything like that. You write about what's happening in the world. You extrapolate on it. You build on it. All of that, and then life happens, and good or bad, it has a certain relevance. And I think as artists, that's the most important thing to us, is really being relevant. Absolutely,
bro. I mean, I look at it. I look at the state of being right now of what we deal with as just artists. In a business that now is, kind of at a stalemate, like where we're as actors and writers and directors, and we're faced with the future. Like, how do we want to work in the future? I like to think that right now where we are as artists, writers, producers, directors, we have something to deal with, like especially on the future, right? Right now we're all one. Like your book, we're all one. Like, what are we going to do moving forward? What negotiations will be in place for us to not only work, but enjoy our work and to be able to, as artists, survive? Because the business has changed tremendously. I mean, I've been in the business now almost 30 years, I guess. And you've been in the business 30 years as well. And you've seen all kinds of changes. I'm not a director. I've produced before, I've written before, but I've never, been a director, so to speak, or a producer of a film. I've produced TV before. But what does that look like? And with your book, when you say where people who are at odds have to survive, where is the middle ground where we can say, okay, well, you know what? All of us is tripping right now. Okay, everybody calm down. What should it look like equitably moving forward for everyone so that the business thrives, so that people want to be artists, that people continue to write, people want to, make movies and be on TV shows and stuff, because that's why I moved to Hollywood. Right. I just wanted to be on TV. Right. I was like, man, TV look fly. I saw you. I said, Eriq, look at Eriq. Eriq is doing it. And a black doctor, like I'll never forget, it's two brothers that inspired me, like when I was coming up in the game, is you and Blair Underwood,
Bingo.
Right?
Bingo.
Because you and Blair were like the perfect black man to me. Like, I was like, we can't be doctors. We are lawyers. We ain't always the dirty cop. You know what I mean? I'm joking, but I'm serious. So I was like, when I finally got to meet you and become friends, it was just such an honor because you had inspired me that there are good roles to aspire to, and you can wait for a good role, and you should play a good role, right? Like, you inspired me to want to be a guy that was accountable for what I am going to do in the business. Like, I wasn't going to be the dude in the chicken suit doing some stupid shit. Right. I wasn't going to do this. I said no 1,000,000 times in this business because of guys like you. How do we keep ourselves inspiring and move forward? What do you think was some of the things that we should look into?
That's man, right on. Good, brother. Good stuff. I think first and foremost, there's choice, the power of choice. You had a choice to say no.
Correct.
We have choices, and so I think a lot of times when artists come, particularly young people come to Hollywood and they're trying to get into the business, and they particularly women, which are preyed upon, and so you feel like this need to allow bad behavior to give it permission. Now we've had Me Too, so that's empowered to a degree. I think we get there a few ways. I think that self-empowerment, like, you always joke with me, like, dude, you keep doing different things. You keep reinventing yourself.
I know.
But see, I don't reinvent myself out of luxury. I reinvent myself out of a blessing first and foremost, because I think, God gives me a talent and gives me a voice. But I reinvent myself out of necessity. And so I think when we understand, particularly as minorities, and I think this is all for all artists, but particularly minorities, because we have another thing at play here. I think it's important to create and own material. Like, listen, you created this podcast.
Correct.
You didn't wait for somebody to say, hey, come on my podcast. You maybe did some guest stars to learn, but you created a show. You get to now dictate the execution, the caliber, the style. You get to, so that control, and I don't mean it as an egotistical sense of control. I'm talking about a control based on pride of work. You now get to shape, hey, I think that there's an audience that wants to hear, this me. I know I'm funny. I know I'm a comedian, but I got other sides to me as well. Man. So I'm not just some dude. I'm not just booty call. I'm more than booty call. Exactly. Yeah, that's a part of me, but I'm more than booty. Yeah. And so if you take that, I've fought that for years, and I want to give a shout out to Blair Underwood, because you got to realize Law and Order. Not Law, I'm sorry, LA Law came out a couple of years before ER. So Blair was a dude, and Stephen Bochco, I was looking at them going, I want to do that. I was in Hollywood. I was in New York. I was in Hollywood. And I was going, I want to do that. That's the caliber
exactly.
of things. So we have to, and see, what we have to do is we have to pay it forward. We have to take on that. Right now it's scary. You know why it's scary right now? Because you don't have to have talent to be famous right now.
Yeah.
You don't have to have talent to have 5 million viewers. You can, if you're a woman, you can shake your big ass, your big fake ass sometimes. Your big titty.
But we do know real booties move. We know some real booty moves. We do move a little different.
But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. But
stay focused.
So you can be like you can be the controversial. You could like there are all these. We didn't have all these reality shows growing up. So where's the training for reality show? You get on a real and I want to be clear here. I mean, people have a right to do their story the way they want to tell their story. I'm addressing what you said. When there is the need for talent, that talent can morph into different things. If there's no need and no definition of talent, if your talent is just simply being loud,
algorithm,
there's no So what you do is you go, okay, I'm going to be the disruptor on this reality show. I'm just going to be the asshole, and but that's not developing a talent. And so the more talent you have, to answer your question directly, the more talent you have, the more versatility you have, the more ownership you can have. So you have to be talented to do this. You didn't get here because, like you said, you were wearing the chicken suit, you were being the Negro, that's whatever. You're like, I can do some silly stuff, but I also got this side of it. And so now we're running out of that. So I get scared that the future for us might be challenging, because there's some talented young people coming up, but there's also a lot of people that don't require talent.
Yeah, I mean, and the balance of it is really what the conundrum is moving forward, because I've seen it in my business. They'll hire a guy who's got a zillion followers to be on a show, or they'll put him in a movie because he's got 80 million people. Even if he does one scene in the movie, they put him in because he's thinking that that's going to draw people. That's the internet. influence, you know. The more people that know about laws of annihilation through the internet, that's more book sales. You know, people that keep hearing buzzwords. Wow, I mean, I saw Eriq. Oh my God, he's talking about this. Boom, boom, boom. We have to utilize it to our advantage on certain levels. The sad part about it is you just can't control where it goes.
But that's, you know what? That's the sad and the beauty of it. Because listen, what I've learned to do is let go of the stuff that I don't control. The stuff I do control, you know what I control? I control homework. I control showing up. I control being on time. I control improving my craft. I control studying my craft. I control those things. Now, I can't determine. We're pushing hard for obviously for this series. We're pushing for this book to make the bestsellers list. I was talking to my agent today, and I was like, well, we don't control that. We're doing everything we can to make it happen. We're being as smart as possible. We don't control that. So once you take that pressure, because you said it earlier, if God puts you where you need to be.
Yes.
At the time you need to be it. And so listen, man, let's be real. Like these books, people see these books and they're like, man, you know, for the last year I've been turning out a book every 6 months. And like, why you been doing? What they don't understand, dude, I wrote these books 10 years ago and was turned down by every publisher multiple times. Multiple. I mean, I went back to pub. I was putting on fake mustaches. I was wearing trench coats.
Like somehow I'm going to get this book sold.
I was doing
right.
I got turned down multiple times. So I kept at it. I okay, fine. The first one didn't do it. I'm gonna self-publish it. Boom, I self-publish it. It does well. Second one, this one's going, they're going to want this one. Go out, same thing, shoot me down. Well, I'm going to self-publish this. Then my agent says, listen, your writing is too good. You can't self-publish me. I want you to have a publisher. So boom, we find a publisher. They come back, and this is God. They come back and say, what we're going to do, we know you have some new material. We want to go back. We want to rebrand the old material first. And so now I got a second shot.
Fire.
So what we take a lot of times as L's and what we take as defeats, they're lessons. And so this for me was a lesson in perseverance. It was a lesson in tenacity. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So now I've got these. This is helping people like, oh wow. No, but now what I do control is first thing I said to my agent, I don't want to be a celebrity writer. I don't want to be somebody that's right. I want to be a damn good writer. I want to be a legitimate writer. That's what's important to me. So now people start going, same thing when I switch from acting to directing. Oh, he's an actor. And then all of a sudden people start going, oh, wow, he's a good director. You know what I mean? It's like, they were all surprised.
Oh, damn.
He
really know what he's doing.
Right. He knows what the camera does.
He only been on TV 20 years. He knows something.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So now we're enjoying this thing where people are like, you know, when you like go on Amazon and you read reviews and you get professional reviews or industry reviews, and people are talking about structure. They're talking about the essence of writing. They're talking about the technique and you go, that's a real writer. So I'm still striving for that. So those are the things we do control. And in that control, I think we have a better path to excellence and ownership. Yeah. And that's what an agency, and that's what you have. Don't think about the things you don't control. You don't control. Like, think about how many roles have you lost because you were too tall, too short, too dark, too light, too this, too that, too funny, too this, not funny enough. I can't control that.
Correct.
This is the instrument that I have. What I can control is making this instrument the best that it can be, making this mind the best that it can be, making my my communication and my expression and my dream, making that. I don't control the outcome. I control the homework. And that's what people, that's what we lose. That's where you lose a lot of people. So I got to tell you, one of my favorite things now, because people, oh man, hey, listen, man, how can I get down? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I get in the direction? How do I do this? All right. You sometimes, take a chance on a person. And you know what I've learned to do? I've learned to give people homework. And let me tell you something. When you turn the lights on and the cockroaches?
As soon as they get their homework, they go.
The homework is the light And then the motherfuckers are the cockroaches, dude. So I don't even have to say no anymore. I'll go, okay, cool. Listen,
do this right here.
Read this. See these 3 movies.
Right.
Call me next week
and tell me what you think.
Listen, dude,
crickets.
And I go, okay.
Don't nobody want to do the work, bro.
They don't want to do work. The ones that do want to do the work, that's what you control.
I love the homework. Do your homework.
Do your homework.
Preparation is a key to success. A lot of times people forget about that. Like, your preparation for an opportunity puts the level of success in your hands. Being ready, I always make sure I know my lines. I make sure that I can feel my lines. You know what I'm saying? So if you ad lib or whatever, it's not gonna throw me. I'm not like a robot and I'm not living within the moment. That's preparation, right? You writing, getting turned down and keep pushing. This is what I wanted people to hear from you, is that it's not always just because you were successful over here, you come over here, you're gonna get the same love, and you might have to start at ground zero and push back up again, and you get kicked in the face.
Yeah.
People say we good. People say, we're doing different things this year. You know what I mean? And you say, no, we're gonna keep doing this. Through your perseverance, through your dream, through your drive, through doing the homework, which I want most people to understand, is when you do your homework, it don't matter. It really don't matter. When you do your homework and you put your gut into it, you can leave all your cards on the table knowing you did your best. That's it.
That's it. I was watching, I don't know if you ever saw this. I was watching this yesterday. And I think it's old, because I think I saw it before. It's so deep. Jim Carrey talks about his father, who was an accountant, who died. And he said the deepest line. He said, my father was an amazing saxophonist, but we were in Canada, we would have had to move down to the States for him to really, and he had a family. He stayed in Canada, he became an accountant. He said, and then he was fired at 51. And he said, nothing hurts worse than failing at something you don't love. Because if you fail at something you love, if you want to call it failure, I call them lessons. I think there are other ways. Again, I failed when I first came out because I didn't get a publisher, but here we are. So I look at failure different. But he died with a broken heart of not pursuing what he loved. So it's one thing. So listen, you got 2 choices. You fail at what you hate, or you fail at what you love. I'm gonna strive for the love
every time.
And I think that's what people don't understand. And there's something else I want to call back on. So you and I speak very similar language. And you said something that was real simple. And I don't know if you caught it. You said, be ready. What people don't understand is when you're shifting, when you want to do different things, you have to get ready to be ready. And don't try to be ready. For instance, you come in on Tuesday, you go, I hate my job. Following week, I can't take this anymore. I quit my job. Now I'm going to go and try and learn something. No. The minute I come into that job and I go, this ain't the job for me. You know what I'm doing? I'm learning some other stuff, so that when the opportunity presents itself,
I'm gone, bro.
I'm ready, or I'm not getting ready, because now once you quit your job, now there's desperation. You don't have the luxury of saying, let me wait for the ideal situation. You might have a family to feed, so you go, okay, I can't get ready. I just got to take this. But if you have been listen, while I was acting, I was watching directors. Before I said I'm officially, and I ended up getting fired from a movie. I had replaced Denzel Washington was doing this film with Michelle Pfeiffer years ago, an interracial love story. He dropped out for some reason. There was a mad dash to replace him. I ended up getting the role. They fly me down to North Carolina. I'm director is like, dude, you're killing it. One day, 2 weeks into the shoot, producer comes to my apartment, knocks on the door and says, hey, we're gonna have to let you go. You look too young to play her love interest, and you're making her look older.
Oh.
Right? And now I can't control that, right? I was devastated. Dude, because this was supposed to be my big show.
Yes!
I was devastated, right? So I went, they had to pay me. That was good. It was my biggest paycheck. I'll never forget. It was $98,000. I was like, okay.
All right.
One day I went crazy, spent some money. I just bought apartment, furnished my apartment. Then I said, now what? You know what I did the next week? I enrolled in directing classes because I was like, okay, I don't want to be in that situation. And at this, I was in my 20s, of course. So you like the 50s are like, I don't want to be in my 50s and
desperate. And I don't have a job, and I'm too old. I'm too this. I'm too that.
And so I started then, maybe even before I could articulate exactly what I was doing. Mm-hmm. I was empowering myself. And so when I talk to people, we talk to your listeners, when I do appearances, it's like, empower yourself with choices. So when you go to that job that you hate, you start empowering yourself by building onto something that you love. So when you're ready and you can't take it anymore, you're not starting from scratch.
I like that.
You're not you're like, yo, I'm ready. So
I'm good.
So an opportunity presents itself and you're like, okay, you know what? Give me a week or 2 weeks. No, they're going to move on to somebody else. But if you're ready,
we go.
Boom. And so that's my mindset. That's how I am. Yeah.
I love my version of that is stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Exactly. It's the same thing. And I always want to dwell into this area, especially when I sit down and I talk with intelligent brothers like yourself. You are such an intelligent man and gifted in all these areas. How do you keep your mental health? Like, for instance, a lot of me and my friends this past weekend, I was hanging. I had a homecoming at my alma mater, Rutgers University, and so a lot of guys are sitting around, right? And we're talking, man, some sports, and then we get off into some real cool conversations, right? And depression came up, and Katz was saying what they were dealing with, or still dealing with, or an injury that set them back, or finances that was something, or this, that, and the other. We deal in the no business. We get 1,000 no's before we get a yes, right? Yes. And we have to pretend none of those no's ever happened.
Yep.
So when you, as I consider a veteran in the game, when you made those decisions to change and stuff like that and whatever happened, how were you able to keep your fire and your mental health pushing you and keeping your wheels moving the right way?
Well, I think, again, part of that goes back to tribe. Part of that goes back, I was fortunate. I moved out to Hollywood when my boys moved out. So we all came out from New York. Okay. So Mike Beach, Wendell Pierce, Ving Rhames, Wesley Sun, these were all my boys, and we were all boys in New York. So when I came out here, I had a
group.
We had a group, and then we met a native Californian by the name of Ren Brown, who was my dog, and he introduced us to like-minded people. He introduced us to people that weren't about the quote-unquote Hollywood craziness. So I've always kept that. And, you and I have known each other for, I don't even know how long we've known each other. But
since 20 years, easy.
Easy.
I'm thinking of my daughter. It's past that.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
He's the first person that ever let my daughter drive a boat. I'll never forget it. Let her drive. I was like, huh? He said, trust me, she'll be fine. There's a lot of water. I'll never forget that. I was scared to death, but it was beautiful.
But that, you think about that. So, that was the house up at the lake, and that was like chill, and that was exposing. Like, you and I are first generation. Well, I can't speak for you, but I think we're first generation.
Yeah,
so we didn't
successful.
have it. So now what we do is we normalize it for your children.
Correct.
We normalized. I remember Blair Underwood came up, and the same thing. I took his son out on the boat, and he came back the next. He was like 6, 7 years old. He drew some crazy things. Like, look, Daddy, this is me water skiing. Dude, I ain't know nothing about no water skiing.
Not growing up in New York, you was not water skiing. Trust me, you was not.
So the big thing for me is this. Personally how I wrote. You don't see me out at every party. You don't see me out at every premiere. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. I've had my time. I partied my ass off back in the day. Right now, that's not the most important thing for me. What's important is the healthy relationships. So when we talk about mental health, we start talking, and black men particularly don't talk about it
That's
enough.
What I wanted. Yeah.
And so I have a tribe that if I did need to talk about it, it's going to be welcome.
Nice.
It's going so that's the first thing, because we as men, period, black, white, green, Latin, whatever. We as men, we've got that pride. We're taught not to do that. So I've got the kind of tribe to be like, yo, man, I'm going through some stuff. Yo, So let's stop everything. What's going on?
Right.
If you ever called me up, yo, E, I just need to pull your ear on something. I'm going through some stuff, but you know you have it.
Good.
So you know you have. So when you have that kind of tribe, and you know, I can sometimes be a recluse, man. I like my cribs, man. I like just chilling at my. I create.
Bro, that is a pure fact. I thought you was just OCD or something. You don't want to come outside. No. Come outside, say hey, and go right back and say, I ain't messing with y'all right now. Enjoy the food. Enjoy everything. You chill.
But that allows me, like, I don't have to be in the mix on everything. And I think one has to prioritize. Like I said, I partied through my 20s, at 30. I did it. I did the damn thing. I did it well. But here was one thing that got me through college. So I was at Juilliard, and then I was at NYU's grad school, right? I used to always say, people, yo, man, let's go party. I got to study. I got to go study. And I realized something at 18, 19, 20, 21. I realized something. I'm preparing myself by studying and mastering my craft. I'm preparing myself for parties that you guys won't even be able to get into.
Oh, that's deep.
So we've partied internationally.
Facts.
Dude, I remember, I used to do the Monaco thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hanging out. I'm hanging out with the prince, and he's like, yo, come, like, and you're like, now, had I been that dude that didn't take my studies seriously, had I been the dude, I would have been doing the same New York parties, the same LA, because that's the extent of what I've prepared myself for.
Yeah.
But when you say, well, my studying led to my success led to a recreational thing on another level. We talking about boats. We talking about lake houses. I'm not being
no,
blingy,
but it's
not my
facts
stuff.
though.
But what I'm saying is
that's the homework.
That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah,
so
back
now,
to the homework.
And then that homework leads to your children and other children that would come up with families and come spend the weekend with me. They're like, yo, this is cool, and it's normal, cool. But it's normal for them. It wasn't normal. You and I looking at each other like these little no.
My kids, your kids, everybody kids at that level. Let me bring this up a little bit. They it's normalized. You know what I mean? That you see people that look like you doing well. You see people like you doing amazing things, which I think is amazing for a child to see early in life. Exactly. It is no ceilings. Like my kids, their first president was Barack Obama. Well, yeah. So you can't even tell my kids it's not possible. They seen it already. You see what I'm saying? So when you have that kind of homework that you call it, that I want people, when you listen to this episode, take that away, doing the homework. Do the homework. It might take a little longer, but the homework is going to make the dream work. You feel me? It's like just doing the preparation, being diligent with your dream, doing the things that are going to prepare you for the next step. He got knocked down. I've gotten knocked down. We've all had these bumps in the road. It's like, what are you going to do after the bump?
Exactly.
What are you going to do after your knees leaking? You scraped up, you done fell on the motorcycle. Do you just run to the bus stop, or you get back on the bike, you figure out how to get home? I mean, I've been in all those different kind of scenarios, and I'm saying like this, I see the success in you already. The audience is going to just solidify it. The success is already done. Right. The work, the adversity, 3 series in a row, bam, boom, bow, done. Now the audience gets a chance to acknowledge it and say, yes, we love it, and champion you to the next level. That's what I like. I love that.
That's the journey, man. Because people, we're not built for everybody's success. Mm-hmm. So everybody, we look at people and go, oh, I wish I was, you don't know what that person went through.
Yeah.
You take even an artist like Kem, singer.
Yeah.
Dude was homeless. He was a druggie.
Yeah.
So now people hear his songs and oh wow, you don't know what that brother went through. You don't know Hallie when she first came out. She said, Hallie said she has struggles.
Yeah.
Everybody looks at Hallie and
you're beautiful. You never had a bad day.
No, she had bad days. Yeah. So it's the perseverance through it, and that's the definition. And here's the thing, for some of us, it ain't an option. because it really ain't, character ain't getting knocked down, because you don't always control getting knocked down. None of us would get knocked down if we controlled it.
Right. That's facts.
Okay, so we don't control getting knocked down. We control not just getting up, how we get up. So I always think, like, I don't think your first moves, I used to always say this, I don't think your first move defines you. I think it's your second move.
Oh, hey, Chaz, you heard that? Yeah, y'all young, I got some young producers in here. Y'all better get y'all pen and pad out. OG just dropped some monster shit on you, boy. Go ahead.
No, because
that's real shit right
because
there.
Think about it.
Move.
We all make mistakes. We all act, you know, spontaneously off of emotion, off of this or whatever. Boom, that's the first move. Like somebody cuts you off in the car, and you go, and then somebody, dude, what am I doing? Your second move, pulling up alongside the car. Hey, I'm sorry. You know what? I was having a bad day. That tells me much more about your character than just that.
The reactionary.
Just that reactionary thing. Yeah. Because the second move, you've thought about it. That second move, you put your character into it. So as long as you understand that, then you're not so easily defeated. You're not so, you just go, yo, okay, yeah, I got knocked out. I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna dust myself off. Dude, I got knocked down with these books. I got knocked down in my acting career. I got knocked down in my directing career. Even still, sometimes even right now, you go, oh, really? They said that about me?
Yeah.
Or they,
why would they say that?
I just got finished, before the strike, so I'm directing and exec producing this brand new show for Dick Wolf, which is his first foray into, he's getting into streaming.
Okay.
So I'm doing the show for Amazon, killing it, just loving the show, right? We're having a great time. And so then, boom, we get shut down, right? But, so here I am working consistently, because, Dick Wolf has made me producer. I used to run Chicago PD for 4 years, executive producer, main director, all that. Dude, do you know that even in those times when you go, okay, fine, I've made it. My agent would send me in or submit me for a directing gig. And I remember somebody said, well, he's a network director. I was like, what does that mean?
What do you mean?
This is streaming. As though like it's so, and I'm going.
So different.
And I'm going, have you watched Chicago PD? Because that's probably the most cable streaming like show on network, right?
Period.
But bottom line is this: if you're a good storyteller, you're a good storyteller. So here's the other thing that people make the mistake: there's never a point where the nonsense doesn't stop. There is someone out there right now that won't hire Tom Cruise. They'll say, well, Tom is, they'll make up.
He's too mission impossible.
He's, yes. The audience won't get me, and you go, so
they will never buy it. He's too, whatever, man.
We don't own rejection. We don't have ownership of rejection. Rejection, everybody's affected by rejection. Now, what we do own is we're men, we're black, and we're artists. Those three things are the kings of rejection. I mean,
you better put your boots on. You're going to get kicked in the face. You're going to get punched in the head, kicked in the back.
Like, that is it. That's it. So we have, I think we happen to have a little extra.
Thank God we laugh a little bit.
Yes. You got to. But that's my point. So when you're sitting around going, oh, life's not fair, and this, I'm black, I'm a woman, I'm this, yes, valid. I'm Latin, I'm Native American.
Right.
I just got finished watching this series called Dark Winds. I'm so happy. This was like 90% Native American cast.
And you never see that.
You never see that, right?
Ever.
So whatever we go through,
they're going through it times 10.
Times 100.
100.
Right,
yeah.
right. So you think about that, you think about Asians, so we all go through it. We don't sit around and cry. We might, I give myself one day to mourn.
And then let's go.
And then let's move on.
Let's go. Hey man, I am honored to have you. I knew when you came through it was going to be amazing. I knew that you would come in here and drop some jewels on us, especially the people who are getting into Top Billing, you know, we got a lot of new listeners, a lot of new viewers who are coming in and tapping in, different age groups, demographics, and I like to keep it eclectic where I got different guests that are talented from different areas, so you're just like, yo, even if it's a young cat who doesn't know who Eriq La Salle is, now they know. If there's somebody who haven't seen you in a while, they're like, oh my God, that's my guy. This is what the podcast is. My dream is to be the place, to be the anchor for the culture, place where we can come down and vibe out. We are not constricted by time or content. We can talk about what we want to talk about, influence who we want to influence, help those who we can help. You hit every cylinder. We talked about mental health. We talked about writing. We talked about directing, not giving up on yourself, about your dream and your homework. If you got all these lessons today, you are top billing.
I want to say one last thing. You know, it's also what's really important for people to really understand is going back to the word tribe. When you select your tribe, select wisely. Because I will say one thing. You and I have known each other for at least 20 years. Right?
Easy.
And I will say this. I will say this to your listeners. I'll say this to the guys in this room. You are the same dude. Same dude as far as your generosity, your openness, your realness. And you know, listen, you and I, we've seen some people get special. We've seen some of our people get
very
extra.
Special.
And you're like, yo,
what is that about?
I used to feed you. I've done, and people get, and so I'm just telling you, man, I appreciate, because like when we talked a few weeks ago, and I was like, yeah, I mean, you were like, yo, E, dude, like there's no, I mean, seriously, there've been times where you talk to people and you're like, wow, we used to be cool, but now they're feeling themselves. And then it comes full circle, because then when they see you blowing up again in something else, like I had somebody who shall remain nameless that I knew and was kind of dogging me. He had some shows, he was hot. Now he's not so hot, he's got a little funky podcast. Hey, can you come do my... No.
I don't know, not right now.
No, so we got this. So, yo, thanks for letting me... you know, come here, be here. But like I said, I wanted to give props.
Yo, you platinum, baby. Stop playing with me. Ain't no let in it. It's what we do. And I like you said earlier, our tribe is strong. We got great guys and women that are talented, that are doing great things, and we're here for each other. And I'm very honored in the way that you were able to be so open with us and just come in and kick it and be the Eriq La Salle that I know that most people don't know. You brought him today, and my producers. I want to shout out my boy Chaz, shout out my boy Tarik. We in here big time. This is Top Billing, baby. Eriq, before you leave, I would love to play a game with you. All our special guests, we play a game called All Facts.
All right.
All Facts on Top Billing is where I get to ask you a question and you just tell the truth.
All right.
You just give me what it is. Okay, cool. Eriq, you've been acting a long time. Give me your top 3 co-stars that was really kind of sexy for you, you know?
Kind of sexy?
Kind of sexy for you, know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, you know, they was looking kind of good. The scenes went well. I'm just saying, you know? I don't want to throw no stars. I'm just saying, you done had a couple co-stars.
So this is me admiring them.
Yes.
There's no insinuation.
No,
anything.
This is just their talent.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can we say that?
Okay. Thank you. Women that I've admired working with, I mean, obviously there have been many. Sherry Headley, we were like just crazy cool.
I thought y'all was in love for real, but whatever.
That's my girl.
Okay, Sherry Headley. Shout out to Sherry. What up?
Michael Michelle. Michael Michelle still.
For those who don't know, that's Michael Michelle.
That is
red bone, curly hair, green, blue eyes. They changed when you change the channel. Fine as hell. She was actually in New Jack City, right?
She was in New Jack City.
She was New Jack City, and that's all I gotta say. I can understand her talent and beauty and stuff. Go ahead, next.
Our chemistry was great. Got to give a shout out to Gloria Rubin. So these are a lot of my ER co-stars. She and I we did like 2 years ago, just for the hell of it, we did a Hallmark movie. We just had fun with each other. And I'm gonna add one that I've worked with as a director. Tracy Spiridakis on Chicago PD. I just admire, man. She just brings it, man. I sit back and watch her work, and I'm just a fan of the work that she does and the presence, and she shows up So I mean, those are, and I've got plenty more.
But that's fine. That's fine. I wanted to give people an idea of the type of, you play leading man roles. You know what I'm saying? You taught me the game. You feel me? I just had to look up to my big brother. So, let's go from the directing all facts. Ready? Right. Directing all facts. Eriq La Salle, you have an opportunity to put together your top 5 directors. You guys are going to do a series, and each one of your favorite directors get to direct one part of it.
Whoa.
Wow, that's hot, right? So like say you get your top 5, it's a 5-part series, including yourself. You get to direct one and you get 4 slots. Who gets those slots?
Now, can any of them be deceased?
It's whatever you want.
All right. Japanese director Akira Kurosawa.
Ooh.
Italian director Tornatore. I'm gonna throw Quentin in because he's just gonna.
He's crazy.
He's crazy, and he's
gonna bring some.
He's gonna bring some.
No matter what, you gonna know Quentin. You know he gonna do something crazy.
Yeah,
I love it.
And I'm gonna throw back to Spielberg because Spielberg started my directing career.
Really?
Yeah, I did a short film. He called HBO and said, "Yo, this dude has something," and they hired me to do my very first movie, which was Rebound with Don Cheadle and James Earl Jones. It was for HBO. So just out of him being, the master. So that's a nice eclectic.
Come on,
that's
man.
an eclectic mix.
Bro, this boy went international in your ass. See, that's that homework. See, that's that money right there. He said, let me go backwards. We gonna go Japanese. We gonna pop, pop, pop. You know what I'm saying? We hitting all calibers, all levels. Hey, man, it is a pleasure to have you on the show.
Dude.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eriq La Salle! If you want to, you could do radio with that voice. What I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna go back and give you some real directors. I thought you was gonna say like somebody like Scorsese or something, but Spielberg cuts that right in there.
Yeah, like
Spielberg,
I said,
epic.
He gave up love, so yeah.
And Dick Wolf, the way he that's just like gangster shit with Dick. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Make sure you go out and get this new book. It's on every major platform. He is the guy. Eriq La Salle, Laws of Annihilation. It's crazy, it's suspenseful, and it's a thriller. You will not want to put it down. Only on Top Billing does it go down. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace. Welcome to Top Billing, big dog. Appreciate you. Everybody, we got Eriq La Salle in the building. Up next, Top Billing.